Hello, today I'll read from the book of 2 Samuel, the chapter 5. The chapter 4 it was about Ishbosheth, that the son of Saul, that he was murdered by his man. And those two men came to David and they told that what they did. They brought the head of Ishbosheth to David at Hebron and said to the king, "Here is the head of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, your enemy, who tried to take your life. This day the Lord has avenged my lord the king against Saul and his offspring." And David didn't like it, what they did, and he killed them because they were criminals. They murdered Ishbosheth with no reason. And David was righteous in this thing. Now let's read the chapter 5 to see what's happening next. All the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and said, We are your own flesh and blood. In the past, while Saul was king over us, you were the one who led Israel on their military campaigns. And the Lord said to you, You will shepherd my people Israel, and you will become their ruler. When all the elders of Israel had come to King David at Hebron, the king made a compact with them at Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel at Hebron. Compact. David was 30 years old when he became king, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And in Jerusalem, he reigned over all Israel and Judah 33 years old. So he lived 70 years and a half or something like that. Okay, let's continue. The king and his men marched to Jerusalem to attack the Jebusites who lived there. Wow, Jerusalem was full of Jebusites. And that Jerusalem should be the capital city. And I don't know what happened. The Jebusites said to David, You will not get in here. Even the blind and the lame can ward you off. They thought, David cannot get in here. Nevertheless, David captured the fortress to Zion, the city of David. On that day, David said, Anyone who conquers the Jebusites will have to use the water shaft to reach those lame and blind who are David's enemies. That is why they say the blind and lame will not enter the palace. David then took up residence in the fortress and called it the city of David. He built up the area around it from the supporting terraces inward. City of David. Before it was called Zion. And he became more and more powerful because the Lord God Almighty was with him. Now Hiram, king of Tyre, I don't know why Saul didn't do that. He was killing the Philistines, he was fighting with the Philistines, but the Jebusites were there in Jerusalem. I don't know. Now Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David along with cedar logs and carpenters and stone masons, and they built a palace for David. And David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel and had exalted his kingdom for the sake of his people Israel. After he left Hebron, David took more concubines and wives in Jerusalem, and more sons and daughters were born to him. Yeah, he had that problem, David, with the wives, with women. These are the names of the children born to him there: Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphelet. Yeah, and the story of Solomon, and yeah, it's just a fast story. I mean, fast a review, or how can I say? After this, it will get details. It will give details. When the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over Israel, they went up in full force to search for him. But David heard about it and went down into the stronghold. Now the Philistines had come and spread out in the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I go and attack the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me?" The Lord answered him, "Go, for I will surely hand the Philistines over to you." So David went to Baal-Perazim, and there he defeated them. He said, "As waters break out, the Lord has broken out against my enemies before me." So that place was called Baal-Perazim. I don't like that word, Baal. The Philistines abandoned their idols there, and David and his men carried them off. Once more the Philistines came up and spread out in the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of the Lord, and he answered, "Do not go straight up, but circle around behind them and attack them in front of the balsam trees. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the balsam trees, move quickly, because that will mean the Lord has gone out in front of you." Wow. God gives details, God gives strategy to David. Move quickly, because that will mean the Lord has gone out in front of you to strike the Philistine away, the Philistine army. And God was there. So David did as the Lord commanded him, and he struck down the Philistines all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. It's very nice to be that God to be your God, and that He to recognize you as His own, because He will. Because anyone who is touching you, God is responsible for your protection if you are His. But you should be His at first. There are lots of advantages to be that God to be your God. Not a lot. Everything is the best. I mean, for the soul at first, and then even for the body. Nowadays, we will see in future, maybe not. Maybe it will be opposite, but for the soul is the best, and it will always be. Okay, that was the chapter. What can we learn from here is the Philistines knew David, and they had courage now. They had courage. Oh, David. He almost was part of us. And now he is the king of Israel. They wanted to kill him. They thought that if they know him, they will have advantage on him. But it wasn't. It is not something like that. Well, some people think like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, God was with David, and not just by succeeding everything or something like that, and even that is amazing. But God Himself was there. Because that will mean the Lord has gone out in front of you to strike the Philistine army. So David did as the Lord commanded him, and he struck down the Philistines all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. He who? God or David? Maybe God. Here is he with lower case, but I don't know. Which is very wow. I mean, that is a real evidence that God was with him. Not just thinking, oh, succeed, or even if that is wow. But no, it was a real and a good reason here. A real evidence. A good reason, yeah. Evidence, sorry. God Himself, or the angels of God, got involved there. Physical. Wow. Okay, that was the chapter. May the God bless me, protect me, and delight me in the next chapter too. And if you want to listen me there too, God bless you all, and goodbye.